we live? It looks like we're live.
Yeah, we are live.
Sweet.
I'm just gonna wait for like a person. Oh, a few people are in here. All right, so welcome to the stream Diagnosing Questionable Copizzle, which is featuring my good friend Dukebothers. I say hello, Dukebothers.
Hello, Dukebothers.
Hello, Dukebothers. We've known each other since like 2007, 2008. We started making YouTube videos at the same time, and so I guess this all started maybe a few days ago when I learned from a little birdie that Dukebothers was not only blocked but also unfriended by our good friend Copizzle. And so we decided to put on this short, like 45-minute thing where we psychoanalyze our good friend Copizzle. And before we do so, I'm going to lay a few ground rules forward. The first rule of this stream is we will not say anything that is not true. This will make it so that, I guess, if he decides to sue us sometime down the road, you know, we won't be liable for slander, or you know, it's just not good to say stuff that's not true. We won't also say anything that's hearsay, so anything we weren't directly knowledgeable of, we won't talk about that. We will not say the words his wife throughout the stream. However, we might call her other names, and they won't be bad names. We just don't want to bring her up because we know that it triggers him. Number 3, we aren't doing this to bully him. We don't want him to unblock us and complain about us to our faces. And finally, we will make fun of ourselves during this stream when we choose to prove that we are human. So, moving on, Duke. So we're on here basically talking about not really that we got blocked by Copizzle. I don't really care that I got blocked. It's probably a good thing that he blocked both of us because we've just got so much information about him. Would that be correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's probably a good thing he blocked us because we have just a treasure trove of information that we could possibly use to go after him, but we don't because we're doing this, but we generally like to take the high road. But Dukebothers, what did you do to piss him off, to get him really riled up, and what was his behavior, and what was your reaction to his behavior?
Well, I told him he looks terrible in sunglasses, and that was pretty much it.
No.
That probably would be enough to set him off, but that's not really what I did. So here's the backstory. And I believe I'll try to give you the brief version of this because it goes back several years. I started in 2006. I think you started like right at the same exact time, and then he came around in like probably 2008, 2009, like not too long after we did, if I recall correctly.
I think it was like 2007, so, like right before, like the season before they won the Super Bowl. We all started coming on. That's what I remember.
That's right, yeah, and like back in those days, like my first impression of him was like this guy's a total douche. But you know, to his credit, he stuck around like most of us did, and you know, we kind of got to build, I wouldn't say necessarily a rapport with one another, but at least we respected each other, and with the fact that we've been here for a very long time, so we knew that, you know, doing bets with each other and making videos about each other, we kind of knew what to expect generally when we did that. So he makes a bet. I'm still in the TTC at this point. He makes a bet with E-Rock, I believe it was, and I don't remember exactly what the bet was.
I think it was, for clarification, sorry if I talk too much. It's a bad habit. But I think the bet was if the Eagles win the game. It was the Eagles-Giants game. Both teams weren't doing so well. I think both teams had losing records. And the bet was, I think E-Rock said, if the Eagles if the Giants win, then E-Rock will send him his little like WWE WWF belt. And if the Giants win, then Copizzle has to show the woman's face that he lives with. We'll say that.
Yes. And as we all know from our history books, the Giants lost the game, and so therefore he was expected to bring Flatface onto the screen, as a YouTube debut. Which this is something that he's built up on his channel for a few years now, I believe. It was something that people kept asking him, when are you going to show her? When are you going to show her? What does she look like? And so he kind of used all that attention and said, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make a bet, and this is what it's going to be. So that, in itself became this, like this clickbait mentality. Like after he lost the bet, the title of the video that he makes is called Baby Doll's YouTube Debut. And it's her, if you haven't seen it, which 3.5 thousand people have, unfortunately, but if you haven't seen it, she's basically dancing around, in a blue New York Giants shirt, and she has her back facing the camera. And so you're thinking, okay, she's going to turn around and we're finally going to see what she looks like. And some people say she was wearing a mask in the video. I'm not sure that that's true. I think that may actually be her face. But from what I've been told, she was wearing a mask. And so, that it's kind of a way, like some people left comments on there that were like, I'm never going to make a bet with you again because you really didn't pay up. You didn't really show a lot of character. Not truly paying up the bet like you said you would do. Like, yeah, she's on the camera, but she's not really revealing her face, which is what everybody really wanted to see. And so that's what he did, and basically bamboozled everybody. But, he did get the views, so good for him. And basically what happens next is that the channel is called Kiss the Six Rings, makes a video, and it says Baby Doll's real YouTube debut, and it says Copizzle exposed in the video. And so basically he takes Copizzle's video and finds, I'm not sure where this particular photo, but he finds an actual face picture of Baby Doll and puts it on her body, like crops it on there in the video so that when she turns around, it's her actual face. And so I put a comment on there, and it just says, well done. This is how you do it, folks, because I felt like this is the way to expose somebody that doesn't really pay up on a bet when they say they're going to. This is the way to kind of make it all come full circle. And I was thinking, it's just a comment on a video, no big deal. And next thing you know, I think it was the next morning, I wake up and I turn my phone on. I have all these messages from Copizzle, and he's like, just going nuts on there. He's like, I can't believe that you of all people would leave a comment like that on that video. And he like screenshots the comment so that I can see it again. And he says, for all we've done over all these years, this is pitiful of you to do that on Tyson's video. And he says, digging up personal photos against people is really a bad deal to do. And then he goes on to say that, do you think I should put your wife on YouTube and mock her? Do you think that'd be a problem? And I'm thinking, man, first of all, my wife is in my videos all the time. I have no problem putting her on camera. It's not a big deal for me to show her face. I'm proud of her. That's beside the point. He literally comes out and says, I'm just going to unfriend you and block you off of Facebook and YouTube. And exploitation and mocking a woman is not very godly and all this stuff. And he ends it with, I should have burned the jersey that we made the bet on a few years ago. So, he just went nuts on me. And I don't, I'm not brokenhearted about the whole thing. It doesn't really, it doesn't really make me angry. I just thought it was interesting that he had that kind of a response to it.
Yeah, that unfortunately does sound like him. Wow. I guess because you did send it to me. I guess my reaction to that is like he really hates Tyson. I know for a fact that Tyson does get under his skin, and I'm not really like somebody who is a huge fan of Tyson, but Tyson does Tyson's job. He definitely riles up people. He definitely gets definitely gets people mad. I guess that's his job, but I mean, just the mere fact that you wrote a comment on somebody else's video and he got pissed off about that. Now, I actually know a few people who he got really pissed off with. And this person was like, hey, this person was just, hey, just block me. Just block me from your social media accounts, because I mean, it was causing Copizzle so much distress. And I mean, I have a story similar to that, and it also does involve Tyson. I think 4 years ago, 2015, Tyson, or the Giants and the Patriots were having like a hate week, like their teams were playing, and I remember Tyson released a picture on Twitter. I had this on my old Twitter account, and it was a picture of Copizzle and the woman he lives with, and they went to like some kind of event, like a wedding, and I remember that they were like standing next to each other, and in the picture, if you didn't know the reason why Copizzle wears sunglasses, you know why he wears sunglasses, right? You don't know why?
No, I don't know why.
Have you ever seen his eyes?
Oh, yeah. Yes, actually, I have.
So
I had to buy another computer after that.
So the picture is him not wearing his sunglasses, and I responded to the picture. I wrote LOL. It just an innocent thing, and a few minutes later, he's on my Facebook. He's messaging me angrily, saying, "Why did you do that? How dare you do that? How dare you laugh at someone that's making fun of someone else's wife?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Look, bro, the picture was not making fun of your wife. The woman you live with. Excuse me, I'm breaking my own rules. The picture is not making fun of her. The picture was making fun of you because your sunglasses were off." And he said something along the lines of, "We're such good friends, and, I've always been good to you." And I'm like, "No, you haven't." I think I mentioned at one point, I was like, friends don't, go on the internet and say that and infer that other friends are going to be the next mass shooter, because I remember that was like during the time when I think there was like a bunch of school shootings and just super unfortunate stuff. I'm like, look, that stuff didn't really get to me, but what really like stood out to me was the fact that I worked at a school, and maybe my life wasn't in the right place, like emotionally I was kind of off maybe. But the fact that you were like, yeah, you're going to be implicated as the next school shooter because you're so unkiltered, I was like, okay. So when your future kid goes to school and there's a school shooting at your school, are you really going to joke about that stuff? Like, you can joke about whatever you want, but I was just like, dude, what are you talking about? But, I remember when I was like a big fan of his way back in the day. Like, when it came to like lackeys, I was like the one person who was like everything he did, whenever he would say anything that was bad. Like, remember when we had that TTC summit?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my dude.
I totally backed him that whole time. Right? When everyone was like, I think he like called someone the N-word, like Big Daddy Caesar or something like that. And I remember I was like, I defended everything he did. He was like a role model to me for some reason. I guess I was an impressionable mind that he was able to, do do weird stuff with, because I mean, it was the internet. You know, a lot of us obviously had our issues. That's why we were on the internet. Like,
Right.
we obviously didn't get enough attention from the world, so obviously we would make videos on the internet. But I mean, that just rubbed me the wrong way, because I thought to myself, wow, like, he really doesn't have that emotion where you know you've done something wrong. You
Right.
know? Like, he plays the victim card more than anyone I've ever seen. Like, he could make a video saying that, threatening somebody's life, not that he has, but he can make a video saying a whole bunch of mean things about a person, and then 5 minutes later, you know, you say like, hey, your eyes look weird, and he'd just flip out. And he'd uncontrollably message you. I think there was one time when, I think it was in 2009, when people started prank calling him. You remember that?
Oh yeah, remember that.
I didn't agree with that. I thought that was like much of what people do. I don't particularly like it when people go out of their way to make fun of the woman he lives with, because even though it's his fault, technically, because he's the one who puts her on the internet to be ridiculed. But I remember the whole prank calling thing, and I remember I made a video like parodying the whole situation. First of all, I never prank called the guy. You might have, but I didn't.
No, I didn't either.
I know a few people who did, like Smitty the Great One prank called him a bunch of times.
Yeah.
He called his whole family too. Like, he had Smitty had conversations with his family.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's what he told me.
That's insane.
That is true. I don't know if it's true, but he bragged about it. But I remember I made a video and I was like pretending that it was the situation. I was pretending that I prank called him, and then he just kept calling me back and calling me back and calling me back. Like, why do you keep calling me? Why do you keep calling me? And I was like, I called you once. But
yeah,
I remember like he did that, and I was just like, he has no process of what's right. Not only what's right and what's wrong, but he would never admit that he did anything bad.
Oh no, not at all. Guilt is not in his repertoire.
And I will say, like, you called him a D-bag, like, way back in the day. But like, I'll say this. I could say that he was a semi-normal person for a little bit. You know? Like, before the Giants won the Super Bowl, I felt like he was a semi-normal person. Like, he didn't always do the greatest things, but he was normal. You know?
Yeah, I guess I can see that. I just saw him as kind of a fanatic, you know, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
like we were over exuberant.
We were all fanatics, but I just felt like he was at least a decent person. And then they won the Super Bowl, and then he became a wannabe fake wrestler. You know?
Yeah.
So I was like, what the? And then after a while, you know, he's doing his thing, and he does his own style. He plays his character, which really the only person in that fan base who can actually play a character is Bad Dog, because he's actually he's a character in his own skin, you know, because he is a New Yorker and he is loud and he is obnoxious, but that's his character. But then he started getting mad at EDP, which I'm not the biggest fan of EDPs, but he started getting mad at EDP for getting more views than him because he was yelling, and then he started copying EDP, and then he got mad at people for saying that he was the next EDP. But
see, I saw a video of him going off on EDP because he thought that EDP was copying him, was copying his style.
No. Dude, EDP has been doing what he's been doing since he started getting a lot of views, since like 2011.
Yeah.
Like EDP copied you. You were the one who was making the jerk off videos and assessing porn stars.
I must have missed those, thank goodness.
But he was like how could he be getting more views than me when he's like a virgin who's overweight? You know, it's like, I'm sorry, dude, like, but when it comes to, you know, YouTube, you don't need talent to get views. You can get views by uploading a picture or a video of a cat or a dog. Like,
yes, exactly.
I made a video like 2 weeks ago and it has 16,000 views of me breaking down a play. You know, like, it's not that hard to do. What?
See, one of the tactics he's been using that I've noticed as of late is he's starting to do that whole clickbait thing where he'll just put this ridiculous title on something to try to get people to view it, and it has nothing at all to do with what the title is.
Like what, for instance?
He'll put on there like "my problem," like in really big letters, like making you think that he's finally going to admit something that's wrong, and then he'll just come on and start bashing like other Giants fans, especially. He does that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, he would rather fight his own fan base than fight, you know, other fan bases.
I think it's obvious that he is jealous of Bad Dog.
I think
it's genuinely, like, known how jealous he is. Because I know we talk about Bad Dog because he's, like, my second favorite person outside of you and Nick Foles. But
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. But like, the way Bad, you could tell that this dude actually has a heart, you know? You could tell that on like an intellectual level and on like an emotional level, this guy wouldn't screw you over. Like, Bad Dog would never screw you over. Like, Bad Dog was the guy who was like, hey, you know, this guy, what's his name, 8 Camel Toes, is really depressed and he's harming himself. So I'm going to try to be a human towards him, right? With Copizzle would just laugh at that person, or he wouldn't even care. But
he'd exploit them for views.
You think so?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you look at Bad Dog, and he has streams every night. I think he has one right now where he's commentating on a basketball game, and he has like 50 people watching him, which it's awesome. It's awesome to see that happen and to see that, you know, he is doing well, because I'm sure that he had his issues as well. But
yeah, he did.
Tell us about, did you go to that tailgate where he did not show up?
The way that happened was, trying to think, like, from a Giants fan's perspective. I didn't even see any Giants fans until day 2 when we went.
That Fred was caught staring at underage boobs.
Yeah, that's the same one. Yep. He'll never admit that, but definitely was.
We got evidence, but go on.
And so I get in there, and like, I go to the front patio, and I see one of my favorite Giants fans of all time, Mythos, 1966. He was out there, and Meet the Mets was out there as well. And so we're just chilling, having a good time. And with guys like that, you can just, you know, have a few beers, talk football, you know, just chill out. I don't think that Cop is one of those people. And, you know, he ended up not showing up, which we thought that he probably wouldn't. But we kept an eye out just in case. But, like, in the back of our mind, we thought if he does show up and starts doing his thing, like, in the middle of Dallas with all these people here, you know, he's going to be in for a world of hurt. And I think he may have recognized that, because he didn't show up. But he did end up making several videos about us the entire time we were there, you know, trying to piggyback off of what we were doing. And, you know, we humored him. We watched his videos to see what he had to say. And I remember he made a bet with us, basically saying that Faya Colette couldn't go into a bar and kiss a girl before the night was over. And he ended up actually kissing 2 at the same time. So that was a big deal for him. And, you know, he never paid up on that one either, to my knowledge. But, you know, we've come to expect that over the years.
Oh, dear.
So we kind of shoved that in his face, basically, and just said, we're going to have fun with the Giants fans that we want to party with. And, you know, you enjoy watching the game home alone. So
didn't he
that's
get,
how that happened.
wasn't he offered free room and board and free plane tickets?
Yes,
and
he
free
was.
game tickets.
And we just wanted to see him get the crap beat out of him, honestly, but that never happened.
I remember he made a video of him packing a suitcase. Like right before the weekend started, he was packing like one of those like I have like a rolly suitcase. Like most people have like rolly suitcases or like a duffel bag, but he was like packing like an attaché case looking suitcase. I was like, ooh, I was like, okay, you're gonna go. That's cool. And then he didn't show up, and then everyone was like, whatever. And then he started bashing people at the same time, and his team won. So I think that was during the time when he got excommunicated from his fan base.
Yeah, it was right around the same time. They, of course, he never really was a huge part of it to begin with, but after that all happened, that was pretty much it.
Wait, what do you mean?
I think around that time, maybe a little bit after, is when the Big Blue Commission started up, and they didn't want to have anything to do with him at all. He was pretty much a solo act ever since. Like, the only one that really kind of teamed with him that I know of was Giants Pride. And after he left, then that was pretty much it as far as allies he had in his own fan base.
Okay. I thought they were like, I thought the only person who was with him was the real Giants Mafia. That guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was too. That's right.
But I thought he beefed with NY Giant Pride too, because I remember I saw a video on his channel where he met up with Bad Dog and they were both like F Copizzle. Like they were just like,
oh yeah?
Yeah. Now I don't know if this is true, so this might be breaking our rules, but he would send messages to them being like, hey, this is what we should do, or this is who we should attack next, or something along those lines. I heard that happen as well, and that they just got annoyed with that for one reason or another. But that none of that surprises me at all. And
no,
it
doesn't surprise me either.
The thing that got me blocked from his YouTube channel was I was trolling him one time on Twitter, and it was like right after the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and I said something like, Nick Foles is a better Super Bowl quarterback than Eli Manning, which if you ever say anything bad about Eli Manning, Nick, baby doll, why are there butter butters on the sandwich instead of Oreos? But I ended up tweeting him. I said, Nick Foles is a better Super Bowl quarterback than Eli Manning. And if you say anything bad about Eli Manning, he will be like the first person to have something to say about it. Which I tried to troll him last offseason by like talking about how much Eli Manning sucks, which, you know, both of us love Eli Manning. I mean,
he's my favorite quarterback in the East for sure.
My favorite quarterback in NFL history. Or not in NFL history, Nick Foles is, but you know, Eli Manning somewhere up there. He's elite. But I said that, and he was like, talk to me when you get views. Because I wasn't getting very many views at the time, because, you know, obviously over time, if you're not saturating your channel, then your views go down, but that's okay.
Right.
And he said, talk to me when you get some views, or over 100 views. And I said, talk to me when you get a job, which I have no idea if people were telling me that Smitty would tell me that the woman that lives with him was funding his gambling addiction, I guess. Which I don't know if that's true or not, but you know, it pissed him off to the point where he actually blocked me after I said that on Twitter. And then he like blocked me on YouTube after I said something similar to that. And then what would happen was he'd be like, nobody cares about you. Who cares about your videos? They're bad because you don't get views. But he would literally comment on my videos. It's weird. I mean, when I block somebody, if I've ever blocked somebody, I don't talk about them. I don't go on their videos. I don't interact with them, because there's a reason why I've blocked that person. I don't do it very often, but I have done it maybe like 3 or 4 times. But Yeah, I mean, he did get really upset when I didn't I actually didn't threaten to like. I guess I did actually. Sorry, Jake. It's just between us for this one. Sorry. But you can still listen. But I think that what was I saying? What was I saying again before?
When he blocked you, you were talking about how he blocked you and just said blocked and.
Oh yeah, he blocked me. He originally, like, the reason why he it was really weird because I had these chat logs that you have when he's consistently trying to go after you for whatever reason. He'll continue to do it. If he's mad at you for any reason, he will go after you without fail. And I remember I was like, well, I've got like a cornucopia of trash on this guy right here. And I was like, what should I do with it? And I remember I talked to one person. I was like, you can use it, basically. And he was like, nah, there's nothing I can do with this. And then I remember, I have a big mouth. So I was on like a hangout, and Eagle Speed was there. And I think Nick Fargo was there too. The Nick Fargo show. And we were talking about it. And Eagle Speed was like, yo, you should totally give me those chat logs. And I was like, I might not. It's whatever. But what Eagle Speed was doing was Eagle Speed was going to Copizzle and being like, hey, I've got these chat logs.
Oh, no.
And Copizzle got really scared. And he would message me consistently and be like, I heard you gave this to Eagle Speed. And I was like, I haven't given anything to Eagle Speed. I've talked about it, but I've never given it to him.
Right.
And apparently one day he messages me and he's like, I know you gave Eagle Speed the picture of the woman that he lives with. I heard you gave him those pictures. That was really bad of you. You got no class at all. And I was like, what? I didn't give him any pictures, dude. And I remember he got so pissed off. And he was like, the world is such a bad place with you in it. Hold on, let me find it. It's gold. But he was like, the world is this horrible place with you in it. And I was like, okay. And then he basically said, you're a bad person, and he spelled "you're" wrong.
Of course.
And then I was like, you should go back to school. He said, hold on. He said, I've got dirt on this guy, proves my point that I'm so ready to leave the TTC. And I said, then do it. You appear to be a better person off the internet, I'm guessing at least. He said, why would you even say something like that? You don't have anything on me. You're a liar. I know you're the one that gave Eagle Speed my pick, which is really sad. Guys like you really never really belonged in the circle. I said, I never gave Eagle Speed anything. Why don't you go retire for the 100th time? He said, God, you're such a loser. I said, go back to school. But I mean, those are the kinds of things that happened, Yeah. You just continue to just pound that whole narrative home about how he's a victim and you're just this horrible person for saying one thing or another. And then he finally blocked me on all social media outlets, which is probably a good thing. But,
right.
Yeah. And I mean, here we are trying to psychoanalyze him. So I guess this is the last part. We'll probably be on for I'd say 10 minutes more if you want.
Yeah.
So what is our unofficial diagnosis or our unprofessional diagnosis of him?
Yeah, I don't really have a doctorate's degree, so I can't really give a professional diagnosis, but I can think of a few symptoms. that certainly an insecurity there. Definitely a role of being a victim, like you said, and definitely one of those. I'm not sure what the word would be for it, but like an attention whore, I guess would be the right thing to say. Somebody that sets up clickbait videos and tries to make bets to get views and then doesn't pay them off, that kind of a thing. So.
Oh yeah, let's finish off with the bets. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Because there have been, first of all, not only the bets but also the retirement. So it's a good thing we're leaving this towards the last part. How many times has he retired from YouTube, you think?
About as many times as I have breathed. That's one thing that I said that I wasn't going to do. I just recently retired from the TTC as well. And over the years, one thing I always said was that when I decide that I'm going to retire, that's going to be it. I'm not going to be a Brett Favre. I'm just going to say I'm done and I'm not coming back. And what really fueled that mentality was watching his videos like every other year at least, where he was like, I'm retiring. And then, 6 months later, you'll see a video with a black screen and just a random date pop up like July 4th, 2010 or whatever. And sure enough, here he comes again.
Yeah.
It's just another way to garnish attention. So,
it's
he's done that a million times. I can't count how many.
It's like every time the sun rises or sets, that he'll always be back. I think one time he was like, I'm going to retire, and I think the comment that I wrote was something along the lines of, you'll be back.
Yeah.
And like people were like, that's awful, he's going to retire. He's like, oh no, we're going to miss you. And I'm like, dude, he's coming back. This is just a ploy.
Yep.
I think that one time he said he was going to leave. I think it was the year they won the Super Bowl. He said something like, if the Giants lose again, I'm going to leave. And then the next week they lost to the Redskins. And he's like, I'm going to leave. And then he just ended up coming back. I think one year he made a bet with a Panthers fan where he was like, if the Giants beat the Panthers, I get your channel. If the Panthers beat the Giants, you get my channel.
Yes, I remember that.
Big Nick. And then I think in 2011, after they won the Super Bowl again, he was like, I'm going to leave. And then in the summer, he came back. And then finally, I think, 2014, he in the middle of the season, like the Giants were terrible, which is like a theme of theirs after they won the Super Bowl against the Patriots.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, I'm going to leave. And he was wearing like a black outfit, like kind of like a funeral kind of thing. He played it up like that. And I remember I was like, yeah, you'll be back. And then I think right before the last game of the season, he did end up coming back. And he was like, the reason why I left was because there wasn't any Giants fans on here. And then we started winning. And, a bunch of Giants fans came back on. We're going to beat the Eagles. And then we beat him at the end of we beat the Giants at the end of the season. And he didn't even make a crow video. And he was like, I'm not going to make a crow video because nobody ever crows up to me. I was like, yes, they have. And he was like, oh, I'm not going to make a crow video because I wasn't actually in the TTC at the time. I was like, oh, Captain Loophole. So the amount of times he's retired. Now his bets. Now he has been welched on a few times. I will say that.
Yeah.
So before he's like, oh, these guys are a bunch of haters and they don't tell the whole story. You have been welched on a few times. And I will say that the one time he was welched on by, what's that Redskins fan's name?
Roby?
Yeah. I hate that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was messed up on a whole nother level. Which if anyone has parents, you should never use their death as an excuse to not pay up $500.
Right.
Like, you might as well just come out and say, yeah, I don't have $500. I won't pay you. You might as well just do that, Welch, than make an excuse like that. And I felt, apparently his parents were already dead, but he ended up coming out and saying, yeah, my parents died, like, right after the game, my parents died in a horrible car accident. And, I'm not going to pay you because they died. Like, some kind of pity thing. But, and then whatever happened with this whole Simus and the Rolex, I don't know what happened. What was with that? That was apparently they both owned the Rolex or something like that. And then But yeah, he bet welched the whole leaving YouTube thing.
Mm-hmm.
What else did, besides the E-Rock thing? What else did he bet welch?
Oh man, I know there have been a few more. I'm trying to think on top of my head. Obviously, again, the one.
It was kind of funny because he started that PayPal thing, which honestly, like if you want to start a PayPal thing, that's fine. But like, he doesn't really have enough views for the whole PayPal thing, because usually people who do those fundraising, those crowdfunding things, have like thousands and thousands of viewers. So I was like, okay, good luck. And he was like, yeah, I need money to, to improve my channel, and give me money to, go out and see other YouTube fans. I was like, yo, I'm sure someone's going to pay money to get you to go to see them. Like you're not you're not EDP, like where people fly EDP out, give him a place to stay, and give him tickets to games. That's not happening for you at this point. But I thought that was hilarious. But what else besides what Mosh would say?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If he wasn't live right now, I'd shoot him a link and ask him what he would think. But yeah, he definitely would say that.
Mosh has like
another thing that we were talking about, a little bit jealous of EDP. When he was doing that PayPal link thing, what he was really doing is he was looking over at EDP's videos where he had the GoFundMe account or whatever it was set up, and he was making money off of that. And Copizzle said, oh, well, if he's making money off of it, then I can too. So that's when he kind of set everything up. And it failed miserably for him, by the way. And when Bad Dog does his streams, he does this the right way. He has a monetization thing going, but he also has a deal where you can send a super chat in his live stream.
Yeah.
And he'll tell you himself. He says it several times. He doesn't promote it. He never asks anybody to donate to it. It's just there. If you want to click the button, do it. And that's the way to do it.
It just speaks.
But Copizzle was just like, I'm going to put it here and ask everybody.
It just speaks towards how likable Bad Dog is.
Oh, like absolutely.
People are just like, Bad Dog, here, take all the food that I bought today. And Bad Dog's like, I don't want it. But it's like you look at two people, like how one person does something and how another person he usually always or generally does the right thing. And it's like, I hate to have turned this into a whole Bad Dog thing, but I would say narcissism, like absolute narcissistic tendencies from somebody who doesn't, maybe in real life he knows the difference between right and wrong, but on the internet just doesn't, just hypocrisy, because he once told me, you don't put that picture, don't send anyone anything from Facebook that was on YouTube. And I'm like, but you have no problem, bringing YouTube, you have no problem bringing YouTube and talking to me about this for whatever reason when you could just leave it alone.
Right.
And I guess we'll end it off on this note, but one time, I think a few months ago, he said something about how I don't get very many views, and then I followed that up with like, hey dude, like you blocked me, like why are you even talking to me right now? Why are you even on my video right now? And he was like, I don't block people. He was like, I don't block people on the internet. I was like, yo, I've got proof that you blocked me. Like, I can't, if I try to comment on his video, I can't, because like I'll like log off and my comment is not there.
Yeah, it disappears. Same thing for me.
And I know that happened because I went on it on another profile, and it with the same exact name, and he blocked it on there too. So,
oh wow.
Yeah, we just want to say that we don't hate Copizzle. Like, all hate, like, we obviously don't particularly like him. Well, I can't speak for you, but I don't particularly like the guy, but like I don't hate him. And obviously, if he does, which I don't expect him to, if he's smart, he doesn't make a response to this video, because obviously it's going to give us more attention that we don't deserve. That's like video making 101. Don't feed the trolls. But I think that, you know, if he does see this video, we're not trying to hate on you. We're trying to tell the facts the way that, you know, we see them. And, you know, it's a way of like like changing the way you are for the better. Because I know for a fact that a lot of the people who watch his videos don't really know him, you know?
Yeah.
And that's probably a good thing for him. But anyway, you know, this was very therapeutic. I think both of us were probably looking for an outlet to speak on this stuff, because I know I've been harboring it within myself for a long time.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of harboring things, there's also something that I've been harboring for a little over a year now, I guess. And I've just kind of kept it to myself, and only one other person in the entire TTC knows this. And so I'm going to kind of drop a bombshell before we leave. But I'm just telling you this to give you a little bit more of an accurate picture of what I think of him. I don't hate him at all, by the way. I've wanted to like him over all these years. You know, I really have. And we did a bet a couple of years ago when we played the Giants, and I basically said to him that I'm going to send you, if we lose to the Giants, I'm going to send you my you probably see if you're watching the video the number 22 Emmitt Smith jersey I'm wearing in this picture here. That's in front of Cowboy Stadium during the CNS tailgate when that picture was taken. Shelby actually took that.
Nice.
And so that was like 2006. I've had that jersey there since I was in middle school at least. And I told him, you know, this is my favorite Cowboys jersey of all time. I've worn it a million times. It's actually a child extra large, I think. So, I mean, it still fits me because I'm a small guy, but I'm just saying I've had it forever. So I'm going to send this to you if you win. And if the Cowboys win, then you're going to send me those trademark sunglasses of yours. So, you know, I kind of did everyone a disservice if he would have lost, because then he wouldn't have been able to wear them. I'm sure he probably would have got another pair, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
So we go back and forth a few times. And first of all, he sends me a message and he says, I don't know if I should do this bet with you because I don't think you're best for business. And I made an entire video about it entitled Best for Business, if it's still on my channel. I don't know if it is or not. And basically telling him that I was best for business. Let's do this bet.
Which, by the way, he stole that line from Lizzie Freak, too.
Yes, he did, because Lizzie Freak, his famous quote, we use it all the time still to this day, is if you're not in the winning business, then you ain't got no business being here. He's got all kinds of those. But so we made the bet, and the Cowboys lost the game. Okay, so here's what ends up happening. I sent him an Emmitt Smith jersey, number 22, exactly like the one I'm wearing in this picture. But it wasn't the same jersey. It was an exact duplicate. I mean, to the T. I had one exactly like it. I sent it to him. And so he goes onto his channel with this jersey, and he's like sniffing it and inspecting it and looking at it. He's like, okay, I'm convinced this is your jersey that you sent me. And then he starts making all these videos about how I'm going to burn this jersey or I'm going to rip it to shreds. And he's like holding it over a flame and everything. And so I'm just like, I make these videos coming back to him, and I'm like, man, I'm so nervous. I'm so scared. Please don't burn it. I don't know what I'll do if you burn it. Like, I'm almost in tears and everything. And I really thought he was going to burn it, honestly. Yeah. I really thought he was. And I made several videos. You can go back and look and see the back and forth that we had. But I thought for sure he'd burn it. Yeah. And come to find out, a few weeks later, I get a package in the mail from FedEx, and I open it up, and he sent the jersey back. So, to this day, I have two exact copies of an Emmitt Smith jersey sitting in my closet. So my wife wears that one, and I wear my old one.
Why does he do that?
And if I were to have the same bet with Bad Dog, I would have sent him that jersey because, I trust him with it. And I don't trust Copizzle as far as I can throw him. So I knew about his past and about the bets that he's welched on, and I just knew that for me, he didn't really earn that right from me to send him that jersey. He didn't earn that, so that's not what he got. And he got duped, basically, is what happened. I duped him. And again, no one knew about it until just right now. So that's the story behind it. But if you dupe others, others will dupe you. That's the way that I see that.
Before we go,
I want to share it with you guys.
Before we go, first of all, that's genius. Second of all, you said you've had that jersey for how long?
I've had it at least since middle school. At least since the 5th or 6th grade.
So ballpark,
probably longer than that.
So ballpark it at like what, 90, 97, 98?
Yeah.
I don't know how old you are, but I'm just guessing. How did you get?
See, I would have been 97, 98. I would have been 11, 12 years old. So that sounds about right.
How did you get the same jersey?
It was really hard to do. Fortunately, that company that makes that jersey, they don't make jerseys anymore. It's been gone for a while. So I was able to actually go into a marketplace and find one. It was the only one available, but it was the exact make, models, size, everything was exactly right. And I looked for a while. If you were to go back and look at some of his videos, he actually calls me out a few times for being late on the bet, and I tried to make excuses like, I'm getting there, but really what I was doing is I was trying to, in a mad rush, to find a jersey exactly like that one, because I knew, as much as I don't trust him, he's a pretty smart guy, and if that jersey was any iota of different than the one that I actually have, he was going to catch it, he was going to find out, and all hell was going to break loose. So I had to make sure that everything was exactly right, so that's what took some time.
No doubt.
I found it online in the marketplace, and after I looked at all the pictures, I said, okay, this is the exact same one, same size and everything. So I bought it, and I actually had it shipped to my house and laid it side by side with my jersey, and everything is almost exactly the same. The only difference is my jersey is wore out because I wore it so much, and that one wasn't as worn out. So I kind of wrinkled it a little bit and sent it to him. But you kind of
poured some you kind of put your jersey, you kind of put it in the dryer and like put it on the wrong setting, so like the screen printed.
I washed it and dried it a few times, but and, I threw it around a few times just to wrinkle it up,
but
make it look good.
That's badass, right? I mean, obviously we're not saying that he's stupid. He's obviously a smart guy. I mean, with that whole loophole from the whole Iraq thing. And honestly, I didn't really want to see the woman he lives with. I don't really care about her. That's none of my business. I think he kind of did the smart thing in that sense by not showing her, because, it's what he should have done in the very beginning. But, I mean, hey, that's pretty scrappy of you. And do you think that he caught on to it?
No. To this day, I don't think he knows at all. In fact, that the conversation that I sent you on Facebook, I think the message before the ones I sent you is that, man, I even sent your jersey back to you. Like, how could you do this to me? I'm pretty sure he doesn't know.
Just by saying that the video was funny, that Tyson's video was funny.
Yes.
Wow. All right. So this was the stream of Diagnosing the questionable man known as Copizzle. We don't hate you, Copizzle. Keep doing what you're doing. We definitely will not, and obviously cannot stop you. This is more of a a cautionary tale for anybody thinking about friending this person on any social media outlet, because if you do say anything that will even mildly piss him off,
especially if he decides to unblock me and message me or whatever, then you can find that on youtube.com/Dukebothers.
I wanting to release the information, but then I was like, I wanted to take the high road, but hey, go check that out on his channel if you want to. But that's all we have. Do you have anything else to say, Duke? Because we can definitely discuss it a little bit, but if you don't, we can...
No, that's pretty much my piece. I just wanted to get that last TTC confession out there, and now everything feels complete.
Well, now Dukebothers no longer has to go up to the confessional and say, "Father, I have sinned," because what's the quote? What's it? Something that will set you free.
I don't know, I'm not Catholic, so I don't really do the whole confessional thing.
Neither am I, so obviously. But that's all we have today. I don't expect us to do this again, but we might if certain things come up. But again, this is not a way to bully him. I don't really think we have, but obviously what Cattle Dog said, the truth has set us free, and we are free. We no longer really have to. I mean, if anyone has any questions, I can just link to this video.
Yes.
All right. Have a nice day, everybody. Peace.
Dukebothers out.
Dukebothers in the house. Or no, was it Bad Andy in the house? Bad Andy in the house.
And then I stole it and did the Dukebothers in the house, and then some nerd was like, "Back at you!"
Yeah,
I don't know who that was.
Some nerd. Who was that guy? I think didn't he like wasabi or something like that? I think
yes.
He would play rock, paper, scissors to the camera. Who was that guy? He was such a nerd.
It was an epic battle.
I think he liked Power Rangers or something.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, everybody.